know, the topic on money or finances in 1 hour, 30 minutes. But most importantly, what we are trying to do is we are trying to lay a foundation. Okay. We are trying to ensure that you lay a foundation to building wealth, because I believe that building wealth is not just something that is a sprint. I believe it's a marathon in that sense. It's a long-term commitment. Okay. So if it is a long-term commitment, that means it's something that you need to start well. Okay. Even if you don't start well, but you need to take that step in that sense. So this meeting is to steer us up, to help us put things in perspective, okay, on how we are to build wealth. In Tribe Grid, I think we've had some lectures, although it was on charts, via charts, and we try to lay down certain foundation about building wealth and sustainable wealth. So today, most importantly, we will try as much as possible to touch some aspects or different aspects of building wealth, particularly for young adults and young professionals, right? But and also give us some practicals, scenarios, practical steps, things that you can start doing after this meeting. Most importantly, after this meeting, I want us to be able to take actionable steps, right? Is to take actionable steps to, it's not just about listening, it's not just about gathering information, it's about taking the first step. So I would say, just before the speaker comes up, all right, I want you to have your, pen, have your notepad with you, okay? Try as much as possible to listen and be attentive. We try as much as possible to make the conversation very interactive. We are trying to, today is not going to be like a presentation slide. I think even our previous meeting wasn't a presentation slide, just because we want people to maximally benefit from the conversation today. And we are going to try as much as possible to make it, what I would say, uh, very realistic. Okay, so we're not going to be talking of $50 million, $50 billion. We're not going to be talking over your head in that sense. Okay, we are going to, as much as possible, to be realistic. For example, we're making 50,000 naira. For example, I'm making that building with that my income. Okay, so of course, I'm not saying this conversation is going to be exclusive to a certain type of earners. I'm just saying we are going to make it as inclusive, okay, as possible. So today with me, I have Esther. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to read, just to quickly introduce you guys to Esther. Esther is a very amazing person, okay, and I've been going through some of her works, all right, and I think she's doing a brilliant job. And I think she's somebody that is one of the first things that attracts me to Esther is the fact that one, she's very youthful. Okay. So when I mean she's very youthful, it means she's someone that can easily relate to a lot of youth. She's someone that can easily understand, all right, the challenges, that many of us as youth, are currently facing when it comes to finances. Someone that can easily relate with, our own desires and our struggles in that sense. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I really like Esther. Of course, there are a lot of young people that are doing stuff outside here. Also, uh, Esther has a platform where she talks to young people, where she coaches young people. Okay, not just even young people. I believe she's is not an exclusive. It's not an exclusive platform, but where she coaches people on making financial steps in that sense. She also has a YouTube platform where we can listen to some of our opinion, ideas, concepts as how to build sustainable wealth. So she's somebody that has the track record, okay, that experience, in helping people to build wealth. And so she's also the founder of just let me look through this. She's the founder of T Finance Corp platform. All right. So I would like you guys to welcome to just join me as we welcome Esther Kintayo to the platform today. So Esther, can you please unmute your mic and can we see your face? Let people see the face behind that name.
Do you want to see my face?
Yes, we want to see your face. Definitely, we
Good
want to.
evening. All right. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this call. Well done, Dr. Emmanuel. I'm so glad to be here with you and to be doing this with you this evening.
Yeah.
And I trust that by God's grace, we're going to have a nice time. Like you said, it's going to be purely interactive, yeah. So there's no use of slide. We're going to be seeing our faces more, and then we're going to be able to express ourselves the best possible way we can, and then interact and talk as regards finances and money for everyone to actually benefit from it. Yeah, so once again, thank you for having me on board. I am glad to be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Esther, for that. Esther, just quickly, just as we continue this meeting, can you just give, just I know you have given a little introduction, but can you just give us, an introduction to yourself, what you do, what inspired you? I know that you are someone that is very keen about finances, building wealth, right? And you are not just a voice, you're not just um you don't just desire that for yourself, you also desire that for a lot of people. So can you just tell us what inspired you to, building wealth and wanting to build wealth for your people in that sense?
All right. Okay. So most times I don't say this, but I have a science background. Let me start with that. So sciences is literally not relating to finance, yeah. And it's not like, oh, because sciences was not working, that's why I now said, no, let me be doing finance. No, I'm actually doing well in my field, yeah. And I just knew that I love to talk about money. Like it's just a natural thing for me. So even during my NYSC days, you see me advise people, oh, do this and do that as regards your finances. Oh, do you know you can do this as regards your business? And then I just say it casually, and then people come back and tell me, oh, that thing you actually told me to do, I did it, and this was the result I got. Thank you so much. In my head, I'm trying to remember. When did I advise you? I can never remember. Oh, thank you for actually yielding to it. And I'm glad for you to give me that kind of feedback here. So that was it for me. So personally too, I just love knowing more about money because yes, I know there is a smart way you can actually multiply your money than only working hard. Working hard is very essential, but you can also work smart here. So you'll see me attend finance webinars, you see me follow financial gurus. I just want to learn about things from them. And one thing I did a lot in like 2 years ago was I was paying for courses. I was paying for classes as regards money. Not necessarily because I wanted to teach people. I was actually doing it for myself, yeah. So when I say something about the stock market, oh, this dollar, something, I was ready to pay for it. I was ready to take steps as regards learning personally for my own self and for my own good. Not really because I had a whole lot of money to even invest as at then, but because something just drew me to it. And I'm like, this thing is worth paying for. And that's one thing I want people to know when it comes to anything you're interested in. So then last year around May, June, we had like a team meeting with my mentor in Aja, and we were talking, and he was saying something like there are some resources that are within your reach that are actually not for you. And in my head, I'm like, okay. And as at then, my birthday was to come July. And I was thinking that, oh, for this kind of grand birthday for this year, I want to throw a party. I was already planning, oh, I will invite so and so. We're going to have this kind of setting and all of that. And right there, I was hearing God speak to me and saying, oh, instead of having a party, oh, you cannot give everybody money. But do you know you can teach people about money from the little that you know? And I'm like, okay. Even before then, I've wanted to have something like that with a friend. But I'm like, I beg, I don't have that time. It's not even relating to my field here. And right there, I was hearing the person to invite, and I'm hearing Sheya Abiodun. And in my head, I'm like, from where to where? How do I want to afford this person? Because it's somebody I look up to in the finance space. And I had to say it right there because it was definitely bigger than me doing it. Firstly, people don't know me for that already in that field. Fine, even if I'm organizing a webinar and it's free, it does not mean people will still join here. So right there, I had to say it in the presence of like 10 people that this is what I am hearing and this is what I want to do. I know that by the time I say it, I'm going to make sure I do it. But if I keep it in, I might not do it. You get. So I did that, and before you knew it, flyer was out. I contacted Shey Abiodun. One way or the other, it was in Lagos. I'm like, I'm going to attend this because it's not based in it. I'm going to attend this event because of him. Literally, I made sure I wrote it in a way that I know I cannot afford you. I cannot. But I just want to do this for my birthday because it's what I'm hearing. If I cannot give people fish, I can teach them how to fish here. And then we had the webinar. Long story short, we had the webinar. Over 70 up to 100 people joined the webinar. And then after the webinar, people were sending me messages. Oh, do you know? Oh, the webinar was very beneficial. Oh, can you help me and guide me more how to do this? And that was it. And I was hearing God say again, oh, this is not the end. Like, you are going to do something more out of it. And in my head, I'm like, it's not related to my field. And then 2 other people came to me and were saying the same thing I was hearing. And that was like a double or triple confirmation for me. And that was how TIF Income started and the whole finance thing started. And from the little that I knew about finance, I've been able to help people get out of debt, manage their finances better, start investing, and start being intentional about money moves. So that's like the whole story as regards how I started this finance thing and how I've actually been able to help people. So one thing I know is financial freedom is attainable to all, no matter the age. Now I understand that money is just a piece of paper. It's just a tool. It's not the end goal, but money is needed to actually be able to fulfill that purpose that you have. Anything you want to achieve, one way or the other, you need money. You need resources. And that is why we have to be very intentional as regards money. So that's actually it for me.
Thank you, Esther, for that. I think that was really, really brilliant. You know, one of the things I always like when I see people that are established or are doing something, I always like to know how they started, okay, what inspires them, because there are a lot of things to learn from there. And I'm sure even while people listening to you, they probably have picked 1 or 2 things. You know, if you have something that you want to start, and you've been cowardly running behind, not fulfilling that, I think it's time for you to start taking that step. Speak to people, speak to people. When you do that, they will remind you. You get what I'm saying. So you mentioned something that was very, very important here, and you said something about money is just a tool, right? And I think also I myself just reading books and listening to people podcasts and stuff like that. Okay, because also I believe I'm also on the financial journey. Okay, and I believe a lot of people also are in the financial journey, irrespective of where you are right now. Okay, and I've realized that I would probably just talk about mindset. Okay, I realized that for people that, let me use the word poor in that sense, there's a way where we feel like money is the goal in that sense. But I realized that for wealthy people, okay, when they talk about wealth, they don't necessarily pay attention to money. Okay, in that sense, money is not like the goal. I've come to realize that they see it as just a vehicle. You get what I'm saying? Recently I was listening to some top investors in the US, and in the conversation that they were having, I never heard any of them say, "Oh, my goal is to make so trillion. My goal is to make $1 billion. My goal is to make." When they talk about wealth, I realize that they talk about value in that sense. Money is just seen as a tool. So can you just expound? Can you just talk more about that, particularly when you meet people? What are the mindsets that you realize a lot of people have as regards wealth, as regards money?
All right, thank you so much. Actually, you've done like a majority of the work already as regards explaining value creation and money not being the end goal. So now let's come back home. I know you're presently in Nigeria, but for most of us that are on this call, we're in Nigeria. And most times when you see people, what do you want out of life? I just want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to have so and so, like somebody like Dangote. Oh, this and this. That's what people will tell you. But the truth is, yes, like you said, money, I love the word you use. Money is a vehicle. Just like I said, it's a tool. I think I prefer the word vehicle. Like now, I want to go probably now from Lagos to Abuja, and I need to get to Abuja. Then I need to transport myself. How will I transport myself? I need money for transportation. That is it. Even if I'm going there to secure the bag, I need money for transportation. So it is now time for people to start realizing that that money you are calling is not impossible. $1 million is very attainable. I was trying to talk to somebody in church, and I'm like, there was a time we'd be like, oh, I want to achieve $1 million. I want to achieve $1 million. By the time you achieve $1 million, you are dreaming of 10 million naira. By the time you achieve 10 million naira, you are going high and you're thinking of 100 million naira. So human needs and wants is actually insatiable, because you still wonder, why is Elon Musk doing what he's doing? Because no matter the amount you have, you always want more. And that is why you need to learn to be contented and actually be comfortable, and then have a way that you can create value. Because once you can create value and solve problems, money would definitely automatically come to you. Just think about it. Somebody thought about aeroplane. Somebody thought about the train. Oh, I want to make people more comfortable. Somebody thought about air conditioner. And now they literally don't need to beg you to actually buy these things. I'm trying to confirm my network is still on, because
Yes,
I
we
can
can
see.
hear you clearly.
All right, okay. So they literally don't need to beg you before you can buy air conditioner. The only thing that now comes to it is we now have different brands here. But just imagine we have just one brand. You will still go for it. Even with the way we have different brands, literally, you don't need to advertise Samsung before people will buy Samsung, because there is something that attracts you to it, and they get their money at the end of the day. So no matter the amount they are calling iPhone anything today, you find that some people will still buy it. There's this product that we even have in the company I work with that is not even available, and people have paid down for that product to get to the country, because they know the value they are going to get out of it. So it's time for us, especially as youth, to know that yes, we want to make money, but are you solving any problem? Are you creating any value? Or you just want money without even doing anything? Yes, you can work smart, but at the end of the day, you still need to put in hard work before you now start earning out of it. So that is why people have to say, oh, it is really not the end goal, because even when you make that money, you still want more out of it. So you have to get to a point where you know that I want to be comfortable with this amount that I have. So now I can have $1 million and I can tell you that I'm not financially free. And somebody else can have 100 million naira and they tell you I'm already financially free. Why? Our perspective to life is very different. The bukata that we have, the expenses we have, the people, the black tax we have is very different. And that is why everything works as individuals. But at the end of everything, it is a vehicle to actually help us achieve our God-given purpose and God-given potential, even right here on earth.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for expanding on that. I don't know if any of us have read just to reinforce and just talk more. Like I said, it's going to be a conversation. That's what I'm saying. Try as much as possible, get your notepad. Okay. I can see Alani as raising your hand. I guess you have a question, just so that we can go deep into into our conversation. Would like to maybe take the questions and answer towards the end of the conversation, if that's okay. Okay. Is that okay with Mr. Ibrahim? Okay.
I think that should work anyway.
Yeah, I think that should work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that we can go deep into cover quite a number of things, but just to ensure that you note your questions down, and things like that, then we can take it from there. Great. All right. So just go ahead. When we watched, if anybody has read this book, what do we call it? The Rich Dad and is it the Rich Dad and Poor Dad, right? Just to I don't think I ever finished the book, and I think I read the book maybe like twice. But one thing that comes up to me is that I realize that it's all talking about mindset. The comparison about the rich dad, the comparison about the poor dad is all about mindset. All right. And just like you said, it's not just about working hard. Okay. Because if you look at that scenario in the poor dad, the poor dad was an hard worker, government worker, things like that, right? But when it comes to money, when it comes to perspective, you can see the poor dad doesn't have the right mindset towards money, which was different. So when you interact with people that have a scarcity mindset, right? I will call it scarcity mindset, that you can expand more on what is scarcity mindset, right? How do you help people to change their perspective? I believe that a lot of things in this life start from perspective. A lot of things in this life start from thinking. A lot of things in this life start from the way you see yourself. Even scripture says it, as a man thinks, so is he. All right. So a lot of book writer you tell you that when you want to do anything, change the mindset. There are a lot of readers and books I like reading, particularly books about athletes, right? And I've read a couple of books, and I realized that most of these successful athletes, they have a very tough mentality. All right. So when you are dealing with young, not necessarily young people, people are about to know what I want to improve my wealth, I want to build wealth. Okay. How do you help them with shifting their mindset from just thinking of having money, or shifting their mindset from just scarcity in that sense to a abundance mindset, to a mindset of wealth, and abundance? How do you help them? Are there tools, are there things that you help people? How do you help people in that way?
All right. Yeah, mindset shift is a major part, especially in everything you have to do in life. It's a major part because it's the way you see yourself or the way you think about yourself you actually be is as far as you can see. So if you believe, oh, in this lifetime, I can never become a millionaire, then it is very tough for you to become that because of the way you see yourself. So most times is different for individuals. Like now, I tell people once I see people that have issue as regards money and their mindset, is a two-way thing most times. Is either the environment they found themselves growing up or the
Yeah,
kind of family they came from.
yeah,
Because you see some people, oh, where did you live? All right, it's understandable. People that lived around that vicinity too, they've probably not seen a whole sum of a millionaire before in their account. So we cannot blame you if you believe it's not possible, yeah. Or then you ask your family, oh, probably you guys have never probably owned a car before, and probably it's affecting your own mindset that, oh, before you can own this thing, you have to be like somebody. You see some people, they'll tell you cannot have some kind of money except you come from a rich background. Everything boils down to mindset. So yeah, how do I address it? Like I said, it depends on the person I am seeing. So now if I'm seeing a particular person that have that kind of issue, I want to know, is it a background thing or is it an environmental thing? By the end of the day, they can be like a general way to actually help people like that. First, you have to be intentional. Because if you're not intentional about your finances, there's nothing anybody wants to tell you that you will actually do. It's very difficult to change people's mindset as regards any particular subject matter, especially if they've not now seen it happen to anybody before. So the first thing I think is very easy is there are a lot of examples you can learn from. You can see a lot of people, oh, actually I grew up in this kind of environment and I'm able to do a turnover of 1 billion naira in a year. You'll be like, how is it possible? Sometimes some people even tell you it's a lie. They're just using it for ad. It's not possible, it's not true. But the more you try to be intentional about your finances, you want to follow people that probably have been in that kind of setting you've been in, and then you can learn from their experience and their example. Yeah, you want to read books that would reorientate you as regards money. You want to attend webinars. I would choose attending webinars to when it comes to me even reading books, because I want to hear people say it. That's something that works for me personally. I would watch YouTube videos. I want to hear people say it. I want to learn from them. So intentionality is key. And then the people you follow is also very important. The people you follow is very, very important because you want to follow the right set of people. If you are in a cycle or a cycle of people and all they can think of is, oh, how can we do this or spend money? People are not talking about how you can save. You're going to remain there. When you check all these billionaires, they are friends with fellow billionaires because they have to think alike the same
yeah.
way. So yeah, it's very important the kind of people you follow. So I can use the example of somebody I probably knew one time, or I still know, when she was working a kind of setting, the kind of mindset she had is not the same mindset she has when she started working in another setting. Because now she's seeing people do great things. She's seeing people take certifications, and you're beginning to think for yourself, oh, this kind of environment, how can I actually shift it? So for people that can afford it, you might want to even move away from the place you stay. That's one
Mhm.
thing. You
Yeah,
might want to move to a place that you have that kind of people that think like that.
yeah.
If you know it will help you, you want to be intentional about the kind of friends that you keep.
Mm.
See, you cannot have me as your friend and something will not change in your life.
Yeah.
That's one thing I know. Because not even money alone, there's some things I will tell you it is possible. I've seen people do it, even me personally. Then I have people like that in my, like, oh, it is very possible for you to do this thing. Because yes, me too, I want to aim high. So you cannot be the best in your circle. You want to have
Yeah.
somebody else that is doing far ahead or far greater than what you are doing, so that now you don't have to become a local champion. That you're now saying, oh, 10 million naira net worth is like the done deal. You've done so
Mm.
well. When somebody is making that amount in a day.
Mm.
So it is very important when you look at all these things, then you want to sit down and know which one works for you. Oh, do I want to start attending webinars with this kind of people to actually change my mindset? That's why you will see me attend money webinars. There's one I want to attend again next, because you just see people sit and they're telling you 100 million naira in the stock market, and you're thinking, okay, because it will really help the way you actually think. So that's like a generalized answer that can work for anybody as regards mindset shifts or mindset orientation when it comes to your finances.
Oh, that's very, very good. So, just like you said, I think just to simplify everything, because she has said it a lot, I think one thing is exposure. That's what she's trying to tell you. Exposure is very important. If, of course, I don't want to call it a particular community or environment so that you will feel like we're saying that. But I remember, just like you say, I remember one of my friends who was working somewhere, and one of the things he was saying that I need to move out from where I'm staying, and he decided to move to areas like uh, on the island, right? I think yeah, I'm not sure where exactly, right? And of recent, when we were having a conversation, and he was telling me that I just opened a company, and just open it, and I can see that just an exposure to a particular place, how that has begun to change his mind, how that has begun to influence him in value. So exposure is very, very, very important. If there's something also in medicine, like when we say IgE allergies, you have to be exposed to something, that will cause a reaction. So if you are not exposed to a particular set of people, a community that have a mindset, okay, you might, find out that you might just still be stuck with your old way of thinking. So opportunities like this, webinars like these are a good way to join. YouTube is a very, very good avenue. I used to tell people YouTube is a very good avenue. But the very first time I opened the stock, this thing was because I was binging on a particular YouTube this thing, right? So I'm telling you that exposure is very important. Try and use. You might not have money now. Say, "Ah, I can't go for paid one-on-one coaching. Esther is too expensive. For me to get," or you might say, okay, this person is. Try YouTube. You get what I'm saying? Try free resources. Go for some webinars. There are some webinars that are free. Just avail yourself to opportunities, to exposures, to talks in that sense. If you have community of friends that are doing well, try and join them. You get what I'm saying? Just get your mind exposed in a way, if you know what I mean. So exposure is very, very important. All right. So we'll just be moving ahead, okay? And there's something a lot of us we usually talk about, all right? Multiple stream of incomes. Okay. The goal tell you that always have a multiple stream of incomes. Some can tell you that have a multiple stream of income. Do I mean I have to be in real estate? Do I mean that when I mean multiple stream of income? Do I mean I have to have stocks? Do I mean I have to have crypto? Do I mean I have to, what do I mean by multiple stream of income? Is it just diversifying my investment portfolio? When we talk about multiple stream of income, all right, for you, Esther, how do you encourage people, about having a multiple stream of income? What's your idea, and how do you help people to do that?
All right. So it's a two-way thing, I would say, for me, when it comes to multiple streams of income, yeah. Because you see a lot of people, once they hear that, they're thinking of like 5, 10 different businesses they want to start. And
Yeah.
then you're just probably earning like 10,000 naira each from these businesses in a month. And at the end of the day, it's just 100K you're still making. When actually, if you stay put in one business and you're very serious, you can end up making up to 200K, yeah. So that's a lot of times some people tell you, oh, really, that multiple streams of income is not that way. But it's a two-way thing. So I would say for a 9 to 5 person, yeah, it might be difficult to do a whole lot of businesses at the same time. as regards your work. Especially imagine somebody working in an investment firm and you're working in 9 to 5, you're going to work every day in this Lagos from the mainland to the island. Please, when do you even have the time to rest? And when do you not have the time to actually do a whole lot of other things? Yeah. So for me, what I advise people like that, or what I think personally is, if I am doing a 9 to 5, some people are very great at multitasking. That's one thing we need to know. Yeah. So if you're just starting out in your career and you know you want to be a career person, you might really not have time to focus on a business that are then probably the first 5 years. Then you might want to consider investments, which is very important, because investing is also a way of having multiple streams of income. Like now, it's a passive way. Let me put it that way. Like now, personally, I have investments in real estate, I have in agriculture, I have in stock markets, I have in money market mutual funds, and probably 2 more others. Yeah. That is me pitching my tent everywhere. I'm literally on this call. And by the time I wake up tomorrow morning to check my FBN quest, I've made so thousands out of it because I am investing. Yeah. So that's one interesting way you can actually do it without stressing yourself too much, yeah, for a 9 to 5 person. But if you now know you have the ability to multitask it with your job, especially when you know that that job is one job you want to focus on for a long period of time, you don't want anything to affect it, yeah. But if you know you can multitask, then you can think of other things to do by the side. Okay, so 9 to 5 is what you're doing. What can you do probably from your 5 to your 9 p.m. before you sleep? Somebody will say, oh, traffic in Lagos is another thing. So you want to consider what works for you, because what works for A might not work for B. Somebody else might have a skill that they can monetize. Like you're very good at writing. You can take your time for the first 3 months to write that book, and you'll be earning from that book every day. It might not be every day, but steadily. And it's just like now I have a course on seller that I can just wake up and I've seen that, oh, you've made a sale. I didn't do anything again. I've done that course already. It's already there, and I'm still earning money from it. And I can still keep earning money from it for the next 10 years. It might not become as consistent as possible because I'm not putting a lot of pressure or focus on it here, but at least I'm still able to make a little out of it. So that's one way. Another person can also be a makeup artist, and you're thinking, oh, I'm very good at doing makeup. Can I upskill and start doing it every weekend? Some makeup artists charge up to 20K now, some even 30K. And if you're able to do makeup every week for somebody, you've made extra money. And within 2-3 hours, you're done with the makeup. You've made extra money. And it depends on how good you are. So you want to think of one thing that you can do for a 9 to 5. It might be a business you want to establish or a skill you want to monetize that you can actually do that would not really cause a strain on you and also on the job that you do. Then another sure way you can make it passively is also investments here. Then for those that are into business here, you see a lot of people, there's some businesses you do that are kind of complementary. I think that is the word. Like now, let's say I am selling bags. For example, I'm selling quality bags. It only just makes sense for me to add shoes to it. If you not buy bag today, you buy shoe. If you not buy bag, if you want to buy bag and you say you want shoe, I also have shoe. So it makes sense to do the two together. Because really, if you are just starting out and you're saying, oh, I'm selling bag, and at the same time, maybe I'm selling food, how are you able to focus on both? Because both require attention because you're just starting. But if you have a clear structure in place, you can actually do the two. But most times when you see people into different businesses, they actually take out time, probably 3 to 5 years, to focus on that one business, build it to a particular level, put structure in place before starting out another. Unlike now, you see people, you just do a business of perfumery for 2 months and you're not getting sales and you're getting tired. And the next month, you're already selling Kono. The next month, you're selling Zobo. 2 months again, I'm not seeing customer. Let me go to another business. It really does not work that way. There's something called tenacity and persistence. So if you've not actually tried out a thing for probably 1 to 2 years, you cannot give up on it, because when you're even starting it out, do you have a target market? And even those into business, most times, if it's only business you do, at first, it might not be very easy for you to start investing in the first 1 or 2 years, because you're also earning out of that business. You're paying yourself out of that business, and you're still also reinvesting into the business. So I tell people like that, that even that business you are doing on its own is a solid investment if you stay put to it. Like it's even an high risk investment, because You can literally wake up and everything is gone because it's high risk. But at the same time, you need to put in all the energy, take time to build that for a particular period before you now start out something. So don't just be jumping from one thing to another. And that is why it's very important. If you cannot pay for courses, learn from people free of charge. People already doing that business. Ask questions. How do they do it? Therefore, 9 to 5, you want to consider no matter how little from that your income, save, invest, and let that money keep multiplying. Then, if you can do something else by the side, then you can also do it. But make sure there's something called your major goal. Like now, if you're a career person, even if you are running an online store, that is not your personal major goal. Your major goal is your career. So that online store must not affect your career in that sense. And then if you're a business person, even if you have 2 businesses, one is like the most important I cannot play with. So you want to put more focus into that one before the other one. But by the side, the both kind of individuals, you can still build a solid investment portfolio that actually earn you income passively by the side on a monthly, weekly, daily, or yearly, or even quarterly basis for any of these individuals. So personally, that's the way I see multiple streams of income as regards these 2 individuals. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just to ask, just for us to elaborate on this, and I know that these are some of the things people say, and some of these things can be a bit controversial to some people, depending on not necessarily controversial. I feel like it's more about the perspective where you are coming from. Okay, for example, people are. Let me start with this. Okay, people are like, oh, you need to focus on passive income, diversify your portfolio, diversify your portfolio, diversify your portfolio. All right. And there are another group of people that will tell you that, okay, for example, focus on active income. So you mentioned there are sometimes where I have seen people who come to ask me that question, and I'm like, yes, there's the aspect of diversify your portfolio, okay? Or maybe you want to invest in stock that's bringing money here and there, okay? But I also try to encourage people to work on your active income, okay? If you can work on increasing your present income. And why am I saying this? For example, I know that let's say there is an investment that is ongoing or that's going to pay you 5%, for example. Let's say you're earning 100,000. 5% of 100,000 is how much is that? Is it 5,000, right? 5,000. Okay. And all right, someone that brings like 10 million, the difference is there. So there are some people that will tell you that, of a school of thought, that, oh, passive income is good, but focus on active income, focus on particularly on the aspect of capital. All right. Try and build capital. So there are people that advocate for, instead of passive income, build on capital, right? When you get capital, you enjoy passive income. There are some people that can be of the opinion that, you know what, passive income is the way. Okay. So, but I believe that is based on the aspect you're looking at it from. For example, I feel like passive income is very good for long-term investment, particularly if you are young, because especially if you are disciplined in that sense. What's your opinion in that sense? Do you think, particularly for young people, should we advocate for people to start with build capital, active income, or should we tell them that, you know what, you are currently earning so amount, start diversifying now, and let the whatever income you are getting from passive income and your active begin to accrue more into what? What is your opinion on that, or what's your advice in that aspect?
All right. You've actually even done the work, Dr. Emmanuel. You have, because the truth is, now there's a sukuk bond going on, and the government is promising 19% plus per annum, and it's going to be on, like, the deadline is 20th of May. They're going to be literally leaving the money there for the next 7 years. They'll be paying you 2 times in a year the money. So now imagine somebody somewhere is investing 1 trillion naira and you're investing 100,000 naira. If you invest 100,000 naira, they'll give you 19,000 plus twice a year. They will divide it to, that's like 8,000 plus. That 8,000 plus is like, there's some people, when they invest in the stock market, they will not be telling you, oh, that dividend is small. I will not ask you, please, how much did you invest? Now, is there much that you invest? That some people got dividends in millions. I'm still hoping to get to that level. But where I am now, I'm grateful because that is the amount I invested. You cannot compare the returns because the amount they invested is different. So personally, what I advise youths is to focus on active income. because it's the amount that you earn that will determine what you can actually invest. So a lot of people, that's why some people are very discouraged when it comes to investing. You'll be telling them, okay, you can invest minimum of 5,000 naira in money market mutual funds. If you invest 5,000 naira, yes, it's true. But if you invest 5,000 naira and they are promising you 20% per annum, after a year, how much will you get? So that's, you are getting like 1,000 naira after a year. That's the amount you invested now, Abby. Somebody else is doing 5 million naira. And they are getting what they are getting. So you know, yes, we can start small when it comes to investing. But the truth is, it is sweeter and it is juicer when you invest in lump sum, when you invest big money, because the returns you now get makes a whole lot of sense. When they were declaring the dividends Elumelu was going to get, it's like some people have never imagined that kind of net worth before, because the money he invested is more than actually what you are investing. So when people are shouting, I want to invest in the stock market, in my head, I'm like, people don't understand. That is what you invest that will determine what you will get. You cannot invest 100K and be expecting them to pay you a dividend of 100K. How? It's not possible. So it's very good for us to focus on active income. How can I actually increase the money that I'm getting? Then also, people will preach that, oh, try and limit your expenses. There's little you can do, because food is expensive. You cannot get food of 500 naira. So you still need to eat. And so no matter how you try to manage your expenses, you need to increase your income so you can actually live a good life and also still save and invest. And then lastly, I love what you said. Passive income, it is sweeter when you're looking at the long term. Like now, probably I'm 20 years old and I'm saving 5,000 naira every month towards retirement at age 60. It makes a whole lot of sense because that's 40 years. But if I'm looking at short term and I'm investing a little, then the turnover is really not encouraging. And that is why active income is very important, especially when you're very young and you don't have a lot of capital. Because the larger and the higher the capital you have, the more ROI you're going to get at the end of the day. But please, don't make that discourage you from investing the little that you have. When I started in the stock market, I started with 100,000 naira. And now I know how much I have in the stock market. So you can still start little. But the most important thing is stay consistent, keep building it, keep trying to increase your active income, at the same time increase your passive income, because definitely it's your active income that will determine what you have in your passive income at the end of the day.
I think I like the way you summarize that it's your active income that will make, you know, your passive income. So it's very important, because I've seen people come to me that, oh, I have so amount of money and I want to, I think this is very fresh in my head, right? And someone gave to me, I have so amount of money. I think about 2 million or close to 1 point something. I can't really remember the figure, but is that figure? And my question was to this person was that, is there a way that you can, you know, spend this 1 point or billion that you have to increase your present income to maybe, let's say, 100%, or even, you know, and if it means for you to take a course for that, it's for me. If it means for you to maybe do a short-term course and apply for a higher job, something like that, you know, try as much as possible to increase that your active income. It's good that we want to diversify our portfolio. You want to do stock, you want to buy real estate. For example, if you say, I want to do real estate. Okay, how much do you have? You have 1 million. How many lands in Lagos do you want to that you can get 1 million naira now? Even if you go to Ogun State, you can say all these, there are places in Ibadan that you can get land for 1 million naira. All right. And I'm going to say this from experience. I remember before I traveled out, you know, I was in between, it was probably 2022, and I had about was it 3 million naira at that time or something. And because people that know me know I love real estate and real estate property investment, and I was in between. So I had links in when this Ekpe started. You know, there's last 2 years. You know, Ekpe was really, people were already, there was a lot of eyes on Ekpe in that sense, and I think land then was, I think 800K or so, 800 or 1 million. It was in that range, and I was in there. I carry some of them. I buy like 2 plots now. You know, that's like maybe 1 point something. Or let me say 2 plots. So now if I invest this whole money. So I had that thought there. And I'm like, okay, this amount of money, if I use it to process my exams, go outside the country, the amount that we have, if I want to, how we, you know, be able to buy, you know, Don't let me just say what it is. So what I did was then, instead of this amount of money, let me do what? Invest this amount of money in me and improve my present active income. So and it's a way of, wealth management. Do you get what I'm saying? Improving yourself, improving your income, improving your salary. Sometimes it might not even be, to some people, it's not far-fetched. For example, I used to tell people, let's say you have a skill now, and you're working in a company, they're probably paying you 100K. Sometimes it might not even be you doing active, doing a course or something. What about you just applying for jobs, other places that can earn you money? For example, I have a friend of mine, and I used to tell people, make use of LinkedIn. All right, you will have there are lots of opportunities that are close to people. So this is my friend of mine, and most of doctors in Nigeria, how much if you once you just finish, how much do you earn? Maybe I think 350K. Between 350, if you are lucky, you get 500K. The game say, especially if you're a non-trainee, you're not a specialist in that sense, in that range. And the guy started navigating LinkedIn. No special courses, nothing. Just body, just put himself out there. And he got a company, and they were paying him monthly 1 to 1.5 million. He didn't improve on anything. He just took that bold step. So sometimes when we talk about increasing your active income, it might not even mean you spending money on yourself or you taking a course for you to do this. It might just be you having that's taking that bold step of applying for better jobs, of applying for things like that, and that will improve your active income. So I'll just encourage you guys, so as much as we're talking about investment, portfolio, and all those things, look at other things around you. You get what I'm saying? Yoruba used to say this adage. Sometimes the things that we're looking for in Shokoto is in our Shokoto. That means what you are looking for in Shokoto, what you are looking far away, might actually be close to you. So the active income increments might not even be something far-fetched. It might just be you perusing LinkedIn. Do you get what I'm saying? I know it might be a very difficult place for people to navigate. It's very difficult. I'm not on LinkedIn like that. I have a distance, but I'm not active on it. So I understand it might be daunting to some people, but it might just be that step that you need to take. You get what I'm saying? And you might that might improve your active income. So my point here is that as much as possible, as we are talking about investment, you are looking for rental properties to do this. It's always juicier, just like Esther said, when you have an increased, active income. When you have a very good active income, your passive income tends to, get better. That's good. Does anybody have any question? I think this is quite interesting because we'll be going into some very, very interesting areas, okay, about investing. And please, if you have questions, you can put it down on the chat. There'll be a time when we open, but you can start putting up your questions on the chat so that we can just look at some of them while we're having this conversation. There'll be a time when we open a listen for everyone to speak about their question. So you mentioned something about investment being very about consistency. Yes, that's when you were saying something. Sometimes you might look at it that, I just have just 5,000. Does that mean I cannot do anything? I just have maybe 50K. Does that mean I cannot do anything? But there's something Esther mentioned, and I want her to elaborate on it. And I think it's about consistency in investment. A lot of time, people, when you talk about investment, people are always looking for that investment that will be, make them a billionaire all of a sudden. All right. And you don't know that investment is something about, I feel like it's more about consistency. It's about discipline. Okay. So for you, Esther, when we talk about investment, what do you tell people? Say, do we always look for investment as that one-time thing that I will put my money and make me very rich? Or is something like a marathon, is something that I need to build? Is something like a journey? If it's a journey, what are the things I need to, inculcate in my investment plan and journey?
All right, thank you. So I would like to start from where you stopped, or something you mentioned earlier about investing in yourself. That's also a very important part, because you need to invest in yourself. You want to invest your money here, but If you invest in yourself, you can create more values, like we said earlier, and then money will not be a problem. And that way, you can invest more money. So if you know you're in a field that you need to take certifications, do it. If you know you are running a business and you know, oh, that's why you see a lot of people, they go to Lagos Business School. They
Yeah.
probably even know what they're teaching you there. But most times they go because of the connects, the network, the kind of people, caliber of people they will meet there, the kind of association they can actually do and actually meet for them to actually become a better person. Yeah. So some people be shouting, why is that money that expensive? But do you know what they're going to gain from it? So and again, what I was going to say is you want to know your own goal for life. Because if you don't know your goal, then you're just going to be moving with everybody. So because everybody's going to the UK, you also want to go to the UK. Or everybody's going to Canada, oh, they're making money there, you also want to go there. The truth is there's somebody in Nigeria that is making more money than somebody in the UK. And also there's somebody in the UK that is making more money than somebody in Nigeria. So you want to understand your life purpose. Like we already said earlier, everything is not money, but money is important. You want to understand your life purpose. You want to understand what you want out of life. Oh, at this point, what certification do I need to take? Or do I need to take a space or breathe and not do anything in particular and just focus on this? You really want to know it and you want to actually pray it out and actually have people in your corner that can help you with that. So when we talk about investing, I like to tell people you don't need £1 million before you invest. That's creating a balance now.
Yeah.
If you have £1 million, it makes you to have more money in the investment cycle and actually get more in returns. But if you don't have £1 million, don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait till you have 100,000 naira before you invest. For money market mutual fund, even government bond, Sukuk bond is 10,000. Government bond, money market mutual fund, minimum is 5,000 naira. But if you're investing that 5,000 naira, you have to stay consistent, because if you invest 5,000 naira once in a year, you will never be encouraged to invest again. Because imagine I'm investing 5,000 naira now. This time next year, you're giving me 6,000 naira. It's like I should have just wanted to buy shoe. Because even the shoe you buy for 5K, that's even if it's example. The shoe you buy for 5K now, by this time next year, it cannot be 6,000. So last, I should have just chopped the money. I should have just done you only live once. And that's why some people, they tell you things like that. And it's because, number one, they don't have discipline. Number two, they're not consistent. The major thing, they are not intentional. Because if you're intentional, if a woman tells you, I want to get this week, they will get that week. So that's the same mindset they should have towards money too. Oh, I want to save this amount. If you have that mindset, you'll be able to do it. Just like when a man tells you, oh, I'm interested in this lady and I want to date her, they will do all within their capacity and power to make sure they attract and they actually draw closer to that particular lady. If we are that tenacious when it comes to money, then it will not be a problem. So you want to be that intentional as regards money, because when you have a proper plan. They'll start telling you, oh, on Friday, are you free? I want to take you out. Oh, on this day, oh, is this time workable for you? Is this, if I go to this venue, how much am I going to spend? If you can sit down too with your money and have money dates with yourself and say, oh, by 8:25, I want to have this in my account. Oh, I earn this now. How can I achieve it? Or how much do I need to consistently save and invest every month or every week out of my earnings or out of my business to actually achieve this? It's about being intentional. It's about having a plan. Not a plan that you just plan and by December you are saying, this year was very tough, we go again next year. No, a plan. And that's why I advise people, if you're just starting out when it comes to your investment journey or financial journey, have friends or have people that can hold you accountable. It helps. But make sure it's somebody that you trust though, because when it comes to money matters, you really want to be very careful. Yeah. So let's say you've told this person, I want to be able to save £1 million this year, and we're already in May. At least if you save £1 million this year and we're in May, minimum you should have done 200, 300,000. If I'm not messaging you and you're telling me I've not started, but the year is still very far, I can still do it. Yes, you can, but you have to start. So you have to have people that can hold you accountable. And this is something I do personally, even for myself. If I want to do a particular thing, I'm able to say, oh, I want to do this thing. So you're able to ask me, not even money, that, oh, Esther, you say you're going to do this thing. Have you done it? Because it helps you to stay consistent. So have a plan. I tell people in my community, oh, you want to invest in the stock market. It's not a one-off thing. Investment is not one-off. You have to consistently build over time. Okay, so now what's your plan? Personally, I invest in the stock market quarterly. Some people do it monthly. What works for you might not work for me. Yeah, some people do it weekly, but I do my quarterly because I prefer to have a lump sum than invest it quarterly, and I'm good to go. If it is 10,000 naira you want to do monthly, you'll be better than somebody that will do 50,000 naira one off. Because 10,000 naira monthly, that's why they want 20,000. Somebody is doing 50,000 and they've even forgotten, and they're coming back in 5 years. They will see return, but the return you will see if you do 10,000 monthly for the next 5 years cannot be compared to somebody else. There was a time I did the analysis using compound calculator, because compound interest is another thing I will talk about. If you save or you invest now 5,000 naira every month into money market mutual fund for the next 20 years, you'll be a millionaire. Number one, people start telling you, 20 years. Shall we even know if Jesus would have come by then? This is one thing I hear. Oh, what if Jesus have come by then? Let me just spend my money now and let me know that I'm enjoying my money. Then I'll not be like, okay, since all the times you've been saying this thing, and Jesus come. The goal is not that you should become stingy with yourself. The goal is not that any money you see, you start saving and investing it. No. The goal is to live a balanced life.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life now. If you want to eat shawarma, eat the shawarma. But make sure there's caution and you're able to think about your future. Leave something behind. Build something for your future, yeah. And that's why I will now mention the issue of compound interest, because it's very important. And a lot of people, they are investing, but at the end of the day, it looks as if they are not investing. Because imagine somebody now is investing 100K, and probably they're promising you 1,000 and 110,000 at the end of the year. And by the time you receive it, the 10,000, you're taking it to the market and you're spending everything. You're having 100K again. You are starting again. That's simple interest. Again, the next year. And you're like, I'm investing, but that's because you're not making it compound. So you have to have an investment that compounds. You have to have a long-term investment that, you're not touching this thing. Even if you are touching it, it's something very important. Just like the way some of us in Nigeria now, we have a pension account. Probably if your company don't even have one, you can build one yourself. I have money with Stanbic IBTC Mutual Fund, and my goal is I'm leaving this money till retirement. I want to leave this money till I retire. Please give me a minute.
Okay. All right. So just pending the time she comes in. I hope we're just easy. Let's just keep taking our questions. If you have questions, once again, try and okay, I can see that Kingsley has put up a question. Putting your question. Thank you for that question. All right. If you have any other question, can you guys just put the question while we are here? I'm just trying to see what we intend to finish this meeting by hopefully in the next 5 minutes we should be done. Okay, so Esther, you're back. Okay.
Yes, thank you. We're not in the UK or in the US, so we still have issues of light, them taking the light.
That's fine.
Thank God for solar. All right. So like I was saying, compound interest is very important. You have to make sure your money is compounding over time. So I was saying that I have an investment with Stanbic IBTC Mutual Funds, and my goal is to leave it to retirement. I have a pension account with Leadway, Courtesy, my company. It's important, yeah. But that one, I am building it. That the money I put there is not money that I need. It's money that, this money is for the future. It's for when I want to retire. And if I stay consistent at doing that, I'm going to be wowed with how much it's going to sum up with. A lot of us now, if you want to buy a very good shawarma in this Nigeria and Lagos, you have 5,000 naira. And within 5 minutes, you are done eating the shawarma. So imagine somebody doing that every week when you could actually just put that money into money market mutual fund every week. The 5,000 naira looks small, but if you stay consistent and if you stay disciplined, because some people, it's not like they don't invest though. They can start stacking up money, saving and investing money. And before you know it, one friend is doing a Ashwebi and boom, I want to be the talk of town. I want to shake any I want to make everybody notice my presence. Then you spend all the old money you've been investing. All the old money you invest for the past 10 years, then you spend it in a day and that's it. No. Or is it wrong to buy Ashwebi? No, it depends on what you believe in and it depends on the amount that you have, yeah. But you want to make sure anything you are doing is within your means, is not affecting your investment for the future. You can stay disciplined, you can stay consistent at it. And most importantly, one thing you want to do is to have an accountability partner. You, and that's one thing I like my community for. You have people that they will tell you their own story. You can learn from it. Oh, if this person can do this, then I can also do it. Personally, even that community encourages me to read. Personally, I don't like reading books. If there's a way I can avoid reading books, I would. But because I'm in that community and we have books to read, I need to read it also. So it holds me accountable to some extent. Because oh, if I'm telling you to do a thing, I need to do it too. Yeah, yes. So that's why you need to have group of friends, have communities, have people you talk to as regards your goals. You might really not mention the amounts because of security issues, yeah, but you can still share some details and make sure somebody holds you accountable and you do the same. That way, you're able to actually maximize people, maximize friendship, connections, network, and also still be able to reach your goals as regards in investing. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very important. Just so I liked, just like you said, very important is, and I just remember this scenario. I think I was listening, either I was reading, I was listening to a podcast when they mentioned this story. There's a particular man in the US. I can't remember the state or states that he is from, either Maryland or Minnesota. I'm not sure. He should be in his 60s, late 60s, and all the time while he was in the US, he was one of these unskilled job. I think it was a sweeper, but I can't remember, either a cleaner or a sweeper, something like that. And he was he was investing. All right, I can't remember when he started investing, but he was putting some money in his investment and all those things. And in fact, it was the story was published in one of these their newspaper because we saw the person put it and all those things. So it's one of these states. This man was a cleaner at the age of 60 something. The total money, of course, just to talk about the compounding effect of investment, it was over a $1 million, $1 million worth of investment that he had. All right. And of course, this was a man that was a cleaner, you get what I'm saying, an unskilled job in that sense. And there are people that in the US, you get what I'm saying, that's where they're making lots of money, or they were making very good amount of money at their old age. Okay, they don't have that amount of money. I'm here in the UK. I see a lot of sometimes let me just put it here. In Nigeria, many of us think we are suffering. Here in the US, UK, there are people that are suffering. It's just that they are suffering. If you are suffering, the government can help you package your suffering. You know what I mean. But if you are suffering in Nigeria, there's no landing for you. You get what I'm saying? But there are a lot of people, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, for example, old people that they've not completed their mortgage and all those things. You have old age housing, all those things that are not available in Africa and all those things. That's why you don't know that here in the developed country, people are suffering in that sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Because their government will help you package your suffering. Do you get what I'm saying? So my point here is that this was a man that was a sweeper, a cleaner, do you get what I'm saying? And there are people, do you get what I'm saying, that make lots of money that he was, during his active years of service, and he has lots of money, you know, to bank on. And that's because of compound interest, the compound effect of just little amount of investment. So it doesn't matter what you are doing. Like when we're having on Tribe Grid and we're having a basic lecture on wealth, one of the things I emphasized was, and in fact, just like you said, the compound calculator, we use that, okay? And we did a test, of, you can check it if you currently, now most of you have access to internet. In fact, for you to be in this meeting, you have access to internet. You can just go on Google compound then calculator will bring you out, okay? Put maybe a principal amount of, let's say, 1,000, you get what I'm saying, and maybe put a monthly this thing of 100, maybe 100 or 200. Then put a total interest, usually 5%, compound interest, usually just put 5%, and now put maybe 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. See the difference, okay, as over time. You get what I'm saying? So that's the power of compound interest. Okay, just like what she was saying. If you have also read this book, Psychology of Money, okay, that's right. Also try to put that. He tried to mention that about compounding. It's very important. In fact, I feel like in this life, There are a lot of things that is about compound effect. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you are here, there's a compounding effect that is happening. Do you get what I'm saying? Not even just when you are investing. So life is all about compounding. Okay, so the beauty of it is start early. Try as much as possible to start early. If you want to enjoy passive income, don't wait till you're 45. Start now that you're 20. Start now that you're 25. You get what I'm saying? By the time you are 45, by the time you are 55, by the time you are 60, just like you said, for example, I'm doing my S&P 500, all right? And my S&P 500 is my go towards retirement. I don't want to wait till 60 to retire, all right? I've told myself I want to, by 55, I want to be, out of clinical practice, or by 50. And I have something that is, apart from maybe the pension and all those things, I have my S&P 500 for that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know that if retirement pension comes, that's okay, but I'm not depending on that. I have my S&P 500 for that. Okay, so you also can start that now. Have a compounding. In fact, I would like to encourage all of you. When we are doing this, okay, try as much as possible to put your investment go into long-term, mid-term, short-term. Okay, try and have your long-term goal for my retirement, 25 years. And that's why it takes discipline. If you are not disciplined, you can't do 25 years goal. That's just the truth. If you are not disciplined, you cannot do 25 years. If you start doing it, by the time longer cash is small, you say, you know what, make I just come out this thing small. Man go chop. Man go chop, you just carry and come out time. Before you know, you don't, the thing that's for 25 years, in 1 year, you don't come out time 3 times. You restart again. That's not, you can't, you need to do discipline. You want to do a long-term investment, you need discipline. You need patience. You get what I'm saying? It's not the small this thing. Okay, you go and withdraw the money. Okay, all right. But even if you withdraw, restart. There's no shame in that. But try and put your goal for long term. I have my distance for mid to I put that mid to either long term, depending on how it's doing. All right. I think it was last year or recently I invested in Microsoft. Okay. And I went to look at it yesterday and I can see that more this was doing well, despite the crash that was happening in the stock market with the old Trump thing that was happening, and since I started picking up again, I'm like, that's good. Thank God I did not go and sell it out of agitation and all those things. Okay, although I'm not into Tesla, obviously, but you can see that there's improvement, and I have that for my either mid to long term, depending on how they do in the next 5 or 10 years. So my point here is have your long term, the one for your long term, the one for mid term, and the one for your short. Try and do that in those ways. All right, we've mentioned something just so we can be practical. Okay, yeah, different investment vehicle, and I would like as much as possible to make it, Nigeria. I know we are also people outside Nigeria, so that might be here. Okay, so what are the investment vehicles available? We've been mentioning stocks. You mentioned something about money mutual fund. You mentioned something about ETF. Okay. What are these things, Esther? It's always you are just saying stock. You are just saying stock. You are just saying stock. Which one is that one? You say money mutual fund. I beg, please, can you just break it down for the people here, okay? So that we can have an understanding, okay, of stocks, of money mutual funds, of things like that. I think the other time you also mentioned treasury bill, things like that. What are these things? Okay, how can one start investing in them?
All right, thank you. So yeah, we have different types of investments, and like you said, major focus will be on Nigeria, yes. But even if you're Nigerian, in Nigeria, or you're in Nigeria, you can still invest in US stocks. You can invest in dollar, yeah. So I will start from like the barest minimum, just like you said that it's very good, and that's true. So I have long-term goals, medium-term goals, short-term goals. So that way you have everything all planned out, yeah. But definitely you're starting from somewhere, because somebody that is not disciplined to leave money for a year cannot do it for 5 years or 10 years. So you start little and then you go up and go up the ladder. So for investments, majorly, if you're a beginner and you're just starting out and you're like, oh, what kind of investment can I even do, or can I actually start? The good place to start is to start with low risk investment option. One thing about Nigerians, or one thing I've noticed about people is, once people hear investment, they think it's one thing that, oh, you put 1 million and in 1 month you get 100 million. That's the kind of things people are looking for. And that's why I see people keep falling into scam like CBEX and all of that. Because I saw one, they're promising you 1,000% in 5 days, and you actually invested $1,000. How is that possible? oh. How do you get 1,000% in 5 days? And then you're like, you've been scammed. Personally, I'm like, it's because you are
You
greedy.
start to be scammed.
You don't know, yes, you don't know about investments and you don't know about finance. That's why you believe things like that. If it's that way, everybody would have resigned now. Do you understand? So people need to learn that investment is in levels. And if you're just starting, you want to start with low risk investment options, because that way you actually tend to understand the market. Then over time, you can increase the kind of investments you do. So example of low risk options we have is money market mutual funds, treasury bills, commercial papers, we have government bonds. Majorly, these are like the major ones we have. And when we talk about government bonds now, every month for those in Nigeria, there's something called the FGN saving bond. So first week or the first complete week of every month, government releases bonds that people can benefit from. The minimum you can invest is 5,000. The maximum is 50 million naira. And what bonds means majorly is you're borrowing government money. Bond is debt, like a debt note. Government needs money. The way this Nigeria is surviving is because of our money. Yes, some of us are investing in government bonds for those that do, yeah. So they need money and they try to, like, at the end of the day, they do it every month. But the rate differs. So it's usually minimum of 2 years, maximum of 3 years. So they are telling you, oh, bring your money, oh, for 2 years, oh, we'll give you this so percent. Most times usually like 18 point something percent for 2 years, yeah. For this month, it was even 17 point something. It was lower than last month. So they're telling you for 2 years or 3 years. If you are doing 2 years, it's 17 point something percent. If you are doing 3 years, it's 18 point something percent. And now we're now going to be paying you profits, interest that they call coupon every quarter. Example, I like to round it up to a figure that I can usually use to illustrate. Let's say you're investing ₦1 million into FGN saving bonds, and they are promising you, example, 20%. So I can easily calculate 20% of ₦1 million is 200K. Yeah. So that means they are promising you that they'll give you 200K every year. So they don't pay the 200K at once. They pay it 4 times in a year, every quarter. So every quarter, that 200K they're promising you, divided by 4, they're going to give you 50,000 naira every quarter. That's what FGN savings bond is about. So they will give you the first year 50,000 naira, the second year 50,000 naira every quarter. If you do for 3 years, they'll give you the third year. Then at the end of the third year, they will now give you back your 1 million naira. That's what FGN saving bond is about. So any amount you invest, just know the percentage. Once you get the percentage and the amount, divide it by 4. So every quarter, they will pay that into your bank account. And how can you invest in FGN saving bond? It's very simple. Once you have a stockbroking account, we have over 100 stockbroking accounts in Nigeria that you can open. Just make sure it's SEC license. I can share the link later with Dr. Emmanuel. So we'll share it to the platform for people that want to open a stockbroking account. Personally, there are some solid ones I recommend. Personally, I use AfriVest. Once you just download it by Google Play, you can fill in your details and you're good to go. Instantly, you get your CHN number, your CSS number. You can use Cardinal Stone. You can do Meristem. You can do ARM. You can do Codrus. Meristem is very solid. So these are some that you can consider. Stanbic IBTC, very important. That one is very solid. So you can use any of these. So once you already have an account with them and government bonds is out, all you need to do is look at the link they are telling you to register through, or get across to their customer care, and they'll be able to guide you through investing in government bonds. But know this, it is for 2 years minimum. Money that you need next month, you cannot put it in government bonds. It is for 2 years. You are leaving that 1 million naira with them for 2 years. But I think there's a way you can take it out if you want to, but there's usually a clause attached. So most times, what you cannot start, what you cannot finish, rather, don't start it. If you know you cannot leave that money for 2 years, then don't invest. That's the best thing for government bonds. So now for commercial papers, treasury bill, government bonds still has to do with debt notes. Just that now, aside from the government bonds, there are also some types of other bonds. There are some corporate bonds. Some institutions or company can also release bonds, and most times the interest for that one is usually higher and the risk is higher than government. Government is more safer because there's no way they are going to. But if you're investing in a corporate bond, you want to be sure you know about the company and that your money, you're going to get it back at the end of the day. So now for commercial papers, it also has to do with debt notes here. And minimum you can invest for commercial papers is usually 5 million naira. So different companies can just come up and they're telling you, oh, we're trying to raise 1 trillion naira and we need investors. Minimum is usually 5 million naira. So they can now tell you, it's going to be for a year, 18 months. Some can tell you it's for 8 months, and they will not tell you the interest that they promise. But averagely, it's usually still like 20% per annum. Some is usually up to 25, 23% per annum. But that one is for those that have up to 5 million naira to invest for commercial papers. And most times, if you invest in companies that already have solid fundamentals, then you are sure. So don't just do investment because the return is high or the interest is high. You want to make sure you trust the company you are investing in. So do research, ask people before you actually invest. Then treasury bills too is like that too. But for treasury bills, if you want to invest in treasury bills in the primary market, you need to have a minimum of 50 million naira before you can even bid. Most of us don't have 50 million naira. So it's not very simple. So you find out that those that have the 50 million naira, they will bid, then they will sell to us in bits. So some companies can tell you that, oh, for you to buy our treasury bonds, you have to have, like now, this treasury bills rather on Bamboo. They can tell you, oh, the minimum you can buy is 100K. We have treasury bills on AfriVest. They will tell you, some can tell you the minimum you can buy is 200K, depending on the platform that you're deciding to use. But in the primary market, you have to have minimum of 50 million naira. If you don't have 50 million naira, then you can buy in the secondary market, depending on how much that asset management firm or that company is actually selling to you at. So for that too, you can do, we have 91 days treasury bill, we have 181 days, and we have 364 days. The maximum period you can leave your money in treasury bills is usually 364 days, usually not up to a year, and the interest varies. So most times too is usually about 19 to 20% per annum for even treasury bill. Then the one I love the most personally is money market mutual funds. And why I love money market mutual fund is the law of compound interest works faster with it, in the sense that now for Stanbic IBTC, if you invest with them, your money compounds monthly. For First Bank, it compounds quarterly. These are like the two that I'm very sure why it compounds. We also have solid platforms. So Cardinal Stone to now do money market mutual fund. We have Imagine Africa, we have ARM, they also do it. ARM, they also do it. Yeah. So now, how does money market mutual fund work? It's very simple. They know a lot of people don't have knowledge as regards, you don't need to have a lot of knowledge as regards investing. They have people that they've employed that are called fund managers that manage these investments for you. So the company is getting your money, minimum of 5,000, any amount you give them. Just imagine 100,000 people is giving them 5,000 naira. That's a lot of money, yeah? So now they now decide on their own what they want to invest into. But majorly what they invest into is still the same commercial papers, bonds, treasury bill, because it is low risk. So for money market, we have different types of mutual funds, but for money market mutual fund, majorly they invest in low risk asset class, and that is why averagely you are promised 20% per annum. So it's like I am giving this person my money. The person is doing the investment for me. And then after so and so period, this is the amount they're giving me. For money market mutual fund, the minimum period you need to leave your money with them is 30 days. 30 days withholding period, just leave it. After 30 days, you can remove your money anytime. And I really love it now because it almost relates to a bank account. The way you're just leaving money in your bank account and then you can withdraw it, that's almost the way it is. Just that for the first time you are doing it, 30 days. Subsequent times, you can withdraw it anytime. Like now, just that it's not as fast as if you initiate withdrawal. They usually tell you 24 to 48 hours. That means if you initiate a redemption, you might need to wait for 24 to 48 hours. But in the real sense, you don't even know wait up to that. On Thursday, I initiated withdrawal with Imagine Africa. I did it around 1 p.m. or so. And as around past 3, I was paid already. I was really shocked because most times if you do it after 12, they don't pay you again that day. I did it for Stanbic around 9 one day, and around 11 they paid. That's 2 hours. And my money is compounding. I'm making money out of it. So money market mutual fund, if somebody is starting out, that's like the best one I advise people to start out with. Why? Minimum is 5,000. Secondly, you're not leaving your money for a long period, just 30 days. After 30 days, you can be taking it out. It's very sweet. It is low risk. So one clause attached to money market mutual fund is, unlike our regular bank account, it is not insured by NDIC. Like now, if you have money in your regular bank account and something happens to that bank, they are still at the liberty, or they still have the right rather to pay you your money back no matter what. But for money market mutual fund, if you invest in a company that is not solid and anything happens, your money has gone. What's the law? That's the difference between money market mutual fund and your main account. And that is why when you want to invest in money market mutual fund, I tell people, don't just be about company that is paying high interest. Be with companies that have solid fundamentals. Because when you hear about First Bank, you are thinking, First Bank, they're not going anywhere because they've been in the market for a long period of time. When you hear Stanbic, these are solid platforms that you can actually do investment with. And we also have other solid platforms now like Meristem, we have Cardinal Stone, we have we have Imagine Africa. These are companies that you can actually consider when it comes to money market mutual funds. So now for medium risks, the major medium risks I advise people to do is stocks investing. Number one thing is, I even forgot to mention, once somebody comes to me and they're like, I want to invest, please, I want to confirm we're still together because my network can be so funny. Please, can we drop some reaction if we're together? All right, thank you. All right, thank you, because the network can be so funny. All right, so one thing I tell people when you tell me I want to invest, I'm asking, do you have an emergency fund? So people will be like, no. I'm like, you have to build an emergency fund first before you even start investing. Because if you've seen the movie Smart Money Woman, if you've not seen it, please, I advise that you see that movie. That movie is very solid. That movie is interesting. Aside it being interesting, you will learn a lot of things as regards finances from it. Just look at Zuri now. She got a car that is above her level. Ordinary to repair car, she didn't have the money. That's already overdoing things. Because you cannot tell me you are investing and you don't have an emergency fund. Then days the emergency arise, you find yourself going back into that investment when you should not. And that is why it is advisable to build an emergency fund. And most times we say 3 to 6 months of your living expense. Why? Because we believe if you are doing a corporate job and probably you lose your job suddenly, if you have an emergency fund of like 3 months, within 3 months, you should be able to get back another job. And so that's why we say 3 to 6 months of your living expense. Because some people will lose their job today. We don't pray for anybody to lose their job or their business to crash. But if you should do, you should be able to live fine for the next 3 months without anybody knowing that you've actually lost your job. And that is why you need to build an emergency fund that is able to keep your living expenses for that period also. So that's why you have to have one before you invest. If not, for someone that does not have HMO now, if you fall sick, you didn't plan to fall sick, you didn't budget for medications. If you don't have an emergency fund, do you want to die? No. You have to go back to your investment to treat yourself. So it's not supposed to be. So you have to build an emergency fund first, then build a low risk investment portfolio like I've explained, then medium risk. So some people will tell you I want to invest in the stock market, and I'm looking at them. Okay, do you have any low risk investment? They will say no. I'm like, you are jumping the gun. You cannot jump the gun because you can lose your money. So you want to have fixed investment. You want to have low risk investment. So that if you invest in the stock market 100K and tomorrow you are seeing 50K, you not have high blood pressure. Because you already knew from the beginning that the stock market is volatile. The same way you can make 350% in 10 months is the same way you can be seeing minus 20% in 10 months. So imagine, you want to be sure of what you are doing and you want to make sure you build gradually. Because there was a time I was telling people I made 350% from corn oil in about 10 months. Anybody wanted to buy corn oil in my head, I'm like, do you really understand the way it works? Because that same time I made about 350%, I had minus something from sterling. So it's like one is actually covering up for the other, so to say. So at the end of the day, you still make money. But you want to make sure you understand how the stock market works. I have like a stock market replay that you could get to actually understand the stock market. Because before you can even invest in the stock market, you need to understand the fundamental of the company you're investing into. You need to understand what you are getting into. You need to understand how to actually select and choose the right stocks. Like you were saying now, US stock market was on red like a few weeks ago. I was actually also checking my portfolio yesterday, and I actually opened my mouth because I'm like, can you imagine loss okay? Because it has actually gone well. It has gone up to a reasonable amount, and I'm like, that is very good. Some people, once they see red like this, they'll start panicking. Why are you panicking? That's not the best time to buy more. If you have money, you buy more. That time that is going down. When Transcorp was going down, I was buying more because there's no way you will not come up, and I don't need that money that time. That's another thing. Money for your children's school fees, you cannot put it in the stock market. You cannot put your emergency fund in the stock market. Money you need in the next 6 months, you cannot put it in the stock market. The minimum time you have to have patience with is a year. And sometimes a year is even too small.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can say, hey, it has not done well, then you sell before you know it is already doing well. So
It's
money
doing
that you don't need urgently, that's the kind of money you can put in the stock market. I think I did, like, I have a newsletter and I actually try to explain as regards the stock market, because I could see a whole lot of people wanting to invest in the stock market because of this dividend paying season. And in my head, I'm like, do you know that some people are even getting 200 naira dividend? That you're stressing yourself because you don't even know how it works. So you want to know how it works, you can get stock market. We had a stock market class ending of March that actually we were able to break this all down. We also had a guest speaker. We were able to talk about how do I know the kind of company to invest in, what do I look out for. And for somebody just starting out too, Dr. Emmanuel was mentioning ETF. ETF is exchange traded fund. ETF is very important. If you know you have low risk appetite, just go for ETF. S&P 500. If you have a US stock, there's no way you know have S&P 500 is solid and it is needed. You have to have it.
Yeah.
Because what it means is you are investing in 500 different companies. Like now, let me explain what ETF means. ETF means, I like to say, basket of stocks. Like now,
Mm-hmm.
you have one egg, that's stocks. You now have like 100 eggs in a basket, that's ETF. In the sense that, let's say I bought Apple and Apple is going low, but I have S&P 500. Apple is part of S&P 500. But because Apple is going low does not mean everything is now going to be red for my S&P 500, because as at that time, Microsoft might be doing so well. Amazon can be doing so well. There's actually helping my Apple. Do you understand? Pros and cons. If you're high risk, if you have high risk appetite, you can be like, but what if Apple is doing so well and I'm making like 100% out of it? At the same time, if Apple is doing 100% and you're doing S&P 500, you'll not get 100% out of it, because at that time the Apple is doing well, Amazon can be doing low. So it's like it is mitigating for one another. But at the end of everything, S&P 500 is solid. At least that's been giving potentials of over 20% per annum, which is actually okay. Just that most times people will be like 20% is small, but it's not small, especially when you look at the law of compound interest. You are reinvesting it over and over and over again. So that's it about stocks investing and ETF. Then after that one, you cannot be saying, okay, I want to do real estate. Like you were sharing. If you don't have big money, you cannot do real estate. You want to buy land now in Epe, you know how much they're selling land. Even if you want to buy land in Abeokuta now, you still have 1 million naira. And if you are using you cannot use it if your net worth is 1 million naira, you cannot use it to buy land, because it's not land that you buy now and in 2 months you sell it at 1.2. You have to wait for a long period of time before you can make money out of it. Like I remember when we probably got land around Mowe when we were still very young and we were selling land for less than 1 million naira. Now, if you want to buy land there, it's over 5 million. But look at the difference, probably 10 years difference.
10 years
So
after.
most times when you want to do real estate, it is long term. A lot of people tell you, no, buy it now, 2 million. Within a year, you get 100%. Most times, it really does not work that way.
Yeah.
So you want to know that real estate investing is a long-term investing, but it's a solid one, especially if you are doing it with the right set of people. Lawyer backing, important. Before they go and sell land for you that they've already sold for somebody else. So you have to make sure all the documentation is actually complete if you are buying a land. You have to make sure you take out your time. Spend money on lawyer so that they will not go and sell land that have been sold already and then you'll be entering that touch. That's one thing. Another way into real estate investing is short-let apartments. That one works very well now in Lagos. At least I'm sure of Lagos. You see a whole lot of people now. And one thing they do now is, I had a friend that he bought a property that was leased to him for 17 years. I think about around 5 to 7 million. And according to the calculation they were giving him that time, and that's why you have to do a lot of research, your homework. Like, okay, this place is in this so and so environment. If you are doing a short let now, let's say about 100K in a day, or let's say for that environment about 50 to 70K a day. Oh, for the next 17 years, you know how much you would have made? And that's true, it's a whole lot of money. But by the time he did it, and that's why you need to know, real estate is not low risk investment, yeah? You need to know what you're getting into. The way you can make a whole lot of money is the way you can lose money. Yeah, especially now, imagine buying land somewhere that is full of water and somebody's not buying it from you, yeah. So he did it. He bought it for 5 or 7 million, and then it was letting it out as a short let. But customers were not coming. And then last time we spoke, it was like he wants to lease it out if he can sell it off. because it was not making the expected return it was open to. Number one, the location of that place is not, if it is the island and a place that is very cool, people take shortlet a lot, but you cannot be expecting one to come every day because you still pay agents. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure there's a solid environment that actually you can make back your money at the end of the day. So that's another way. Another way now that we see, just that this one is, it comes with higher risks, is that you can invest in real estate without really not buying the land. In the sense that you can have a real estate companies that they're probably into real estate and also into construction, and they probably need money to buy land in acres and they don't have the money. They can approach you and say, oh, can you give us 5 million naira in a year? We'll give you back so and so percent. That there's not a lot of that in Nigeria, but most of it are not registered, and it's even a scam. Recently, SEC even called out a particular company that was promising about 40% per annum that is not registered with SEC. So if you invest with them and you lose your money, you're on your own. But some, I remember when Oxford did theirs then, I invested my money and I lost my money. Oxford was not a scam, yeah. The issue they had was they did a lot. They were doing a whole lot. They had agriculture, they had real estate, they had several ones, and then the whole money was mismanaged. But when I was doing it, I didn't knew it's high risk. So when I lost my money, I was pained, but I didn't knew it's 50-50. Anything can happen. So that's one thing you want to ask yourself. If you lose that money, what will happen? If you know you will drink sniper, please don't invest the money. Do you understand? So you want to do what works for you. So there are companies like that, they will tell you minimum. I do with a particular company currently, and why I do is because I know the company personally, I trust the person, I know the person in total, and then their legal backings and all of that. Even with that, I know the risks attached that I can lose my money, because if a company is promising you 50% per annum, it is actually very high. And that is what they promise. I had like 4 investments with them. I've gotten ROI back on like 2, and it's been good. But that does not mean anything cannot happen. Do you understand? Because of the level of risks attached here. So another one is crypto and forex. This is one platform or one investment I'm looking towards exploring. I said I was going to explore it this year. I've not started. The year is still there anyway, because people are making money from crypto and forex. I remember a friend was telling me when he was in NYC, he bought a particular coin, maybe for 30K, and he even forgot, because how much is 30K now? You get, and he was checking last year, and that coin already, it was already up to 1.5 million. Like within 3 to 4 years, I don't understand. 30,000 naira to 1.5. Currently, it has dropped to about 1 million naira. And that's the thing about crypto and forex. It is very volatile. It is very high risk. You cannot do it if you don't have mind. Personally, I used to feel if I want to do it, it's one that I know, like in my head, I don't have that money again. So that way, if I lose the money, I'm not bothered. Because I know myself, I don't have high risk appetite as a person too. Do you get? So I know myself. So if I don't know how to put 500K in that place or 300K, in my head, I don't have that money. If it comes, fine. If it does not come, fine. So volatility is a very big thing when it comes to crypto and forex. The same way they make money is the same way they can actually lose money. Then lastly, the one I'm going to talk about, and then list others, is investments or investing in businesses. It's high risk. You can choose to have a business that you want to run and make money out of it. Some people are doing business and are getting 100% turnover in a quarter. They do it well, and that's what they are into, yeah? So you can decide to do that as a person. And another one is you can decide to invest in people's businesses. But at the same time, you have to be sure of the kind of business you're investing into. There's something we call private equity. There's something we call venture capital. But for that one, you see a lot of people, they have up to 10 million naira. They don't have what they're doing with that money. They approach a tech startup and they're telling you, oh, if I invest in your company, I'm going to have 20% out of the company. And they sign up for that. It might be 10%. And without doing anything, by just giving that person money, they get to make money every quarter or every year. But that's just for those that have a lot of money. Another investment we have is peer-to-peer lending. It's very risky in the sense that you can decide to be borrowing people money the way fair money does. Yeah. Oh, I'll borrow you 300K. In a year, you pay me back 330K. Or in a month, you pay me back 310. But I know that if your money go, what's in a year? But definitely the way you can make it or do it in a structured way and you can actually still benefit from it. Also, you can invest in agriculture. One way you can invest in agriculture is through the stock market. If you buy Okumu oil now, you're investing in palm oil. You can invest in gold. You can decide to buy raw gold if you have it and find a way to save it well, because you cannot just keep it anywhere and make money out of it. Another one is you can invest in gold by investing in the stock market. So you want to know what the company is into, and then you invest into it also. Another one is commodities. Like now, it's still relating to agriculture anyway. You can invest in commodities. Like now, oil. Yes, you can get money out of it. You can invest in those that have, what's it called, all this cocoa farming, that do piggery, that do fishery. They make a whole lot of money. You can just approach them, but don't forget the level of risks also. You have to consider it at the end of the day. So there are several types of investment that you can consider, and you just want to sit down and know your investment goal. But if you are just starting out, don't be greedy. Start with the low risk investment options I mentioned: government bonds, money market mutual funds, commercial papers, treasury bills. And then after doing this for probably 6 months to a year, then you can now start considering other kinds of investment and start diversifying, and then you see what works for you better, then you follow that way, and then you keep increasing the money you are investing also, so that at the end of the day your money can compound and you can make a whole lot of money out of it. So I hope I've been able to try to touch different kinds of investment, and I hope somebody have been able to learn something out of it within the short period of time I've done that.
Thank you so much, Esther. Just because of time, you've been able to answer lots of you touched on a lot of things, right? And that's why I was telling us to have our notepad. At least most people know where to get this form of investment and applications and all those things to start their investing journey. Just ask a question. Someone just put a question here. I think he got disconnected, and he was saying, as regards emergency fund, do we have to put it in the market mutual funds, or you just put it in your normal saving accounts?
All right. So as regards emergency funds, personally, I don't advise anybody to leave money in their bank accounts, except money that you know that you want to use. Like now, you should have a transactional account for your day-to-day running here. But money you don't need in the next 1 month, don't leave it in your account. It's just there. The minimum you can do when it comes to emergency fund that I advise people is use fintech app. One solid app I recommend is PiggyVest. PiggyVest has been in the market for almost 9 years, and they are SEC licensed, they are CBN licensed, they are doing so well. And if you put it in PiggyVest, Piggy Bank, you get 18% per annum. If you do Piggy Flex, you get 12% per annum. So for your emergency fund, I did a video on that on my YouTube. You cannot put your emergency fund in Piggy Bank in PiggyVest. Why? Because in Piggy Bank, you can only withdraw once in 3 months, except you pay a breaking fee of 3.5%. And you are not the one to determine when emergencies will come. We don't pay for emergencies, but emergency can come anytime. So the best place you can put your money, if you want to put it in PiggyVest, is Piggy Flex. That one you can withdraw 4 times in a month. Would not pay for anybody to have emergency that is more than 4 times in a month, yeah. But if you need to withdraw more than that, you can still do that, but you just forfeit your interest. So instead of just putting your bank account, put it where you can still be getting 12% per annum, and then you can be able to withdraw it when you actually need it. But one thing, you have to be disciplined. If not, now some people, Ashebi is not emergency. Ashebi is not emergency. Shawarma is not emergency. Before you go and use money for emergency for something that is actually not an emergency, you want to make sure you stay disciplined. It's hard though. Discipline is hard, but you can build it over time. And then for those that, like now personally, what I do, let me use my example for my emergency fund is I split it into 2. Even currently, I don't even have any of my emergency fund in Piggy Flex for this month. I think everything is out. So what I do is I use Piggy Flex and I use money market mutual funds with Imagine Africa for my emergency funds. And why I split it is because if I put everything inside Piggy Flex, it's 12%. If I put some inside my money market mutual fund, I'll still get like 20%, 22%, depending. I know that I cannot need, by the grace of God, I cannot have emergencies that will make me to want to spend everything at once, yeah? So if it is very urgent, I'll take it out of my Piggy Flex because I can easily get that one within 1 minute. Unlike my Imagine Africa that I can need to wait for up to 24 hours, yeah? And sometimes you need money immediately to attend to some emergencies. So that is why I had to split it. So you need to understand your own kind of self and also understand your kind of person and know what works for you. But you cannot put all your emergency fund in money market mutual funds. Why? Because you can't get the money out immediately. you need like 24 to 48 hours. So what if you need the money urgently? What do you do? For some people, they are, to be very real now, they have people that they know that they can just get in touch with, that can give them that money immediately, and then within 24 hours you give it to them back. But instead of doing that, you can just split it. Also, you can use Cowrywise. Cowrywise emergency option is 20% too per annum. Cowrywise is another solid platform, very solid platform that you can even do investment with money market mutual funds, even with them on their app. So you can want to explore Cowrywise. I did a review on Piggyvest. I did a review on Cowrywise on my YouTube channel. You can check both out and know what works for you. And also, you can still do your money market mutual fund, but make sure you know what works for you and then you split it. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to say as regards that.
All right. Does anybody have a question? We'll just take 2 questions from people that are listening, that you want to ask a question directly without putting it on the chat. And we'll be working towards rounding up today.
Yeah, I think Kingsley asked the question earlier, Dr. Emmanuel.
Okay, yeah. Okay, just give me a moment. So Kingsley asked the question about how can individuals effectively achieve work-life integration to ensure how can individuals effectively achieve work-life integration to ensure both their personal and professional lives are balanced without sacrificing important moments?
How do I answer that? I think, okay, I would answer then. I think you'd have something also to say as regards that, Dr. Skinsheri. All
Okay,
right. So work-life balance, especially if you're in this Nigeria, in this Lagos, it's very tough. Yeah, you have to still go to work, come back, and still have time for your family, your life, and personal life. Yeah, but one thing that works for me. Another example is I have a to-do list, things I want to do in a particular day. I have a to-do list. So I try to work with my to-do list. Sometimes I don't achieve everything, but at least I achieve 70 to 80%. Since I've been using a to-do list, that's made life easy for me. Because if I say that, from this, so some people don't put timing in their own to-do list, but most times I don't even use timing. I just know I want to do this today. I want to do this today. I want to do this today. It works for me. Another thing that works for me, I can't stop saying, emphasizing it, is accountability. I try as much as possible to share my goals with somebody. I have something I want to do in July. I've told like 2 people already, because I want to make sure I start working towards it from the end of this month, so that by July it materializes and I'm able to do it, because I don't want even my work to actually stop it. So to-do list work for me. Actually, accountability also work for me as regards work-life balance and integrating both to make sure that my professional life is not affecting my personal life. At the same time, my personal life is not affecting my professional life. So yeah, I think Dr. Kishan help us at that as regards that question.
Yeah. So as regards, just like you said, having a goal is very important to achieve a work-life balance. Another thing I usually tell people is you must have a clear distinction of what matters to you. A lot of times, even work-life balance is not just having time for yourself, because sometimes you can have time for yourself while you are doing stuff, right? And you could still feel exhausted and overwhelmed. So, but then you see people that they are busy, but they are things that are important to them, they are eating that go. So, for example, family might matter to some people, all right? So, and they have that time where they can spend maybe 2 hours at time with their family, with their family members, or with their friends. Though they might have a busy schedule, just being able to do that important aspect of their life, for that week, they feel satisfied, they feel refreshed, they feel like they've achieved something, because though in their busy schedule, okay, they are able to, balance that priority. So what I used to tell people is, and it's very important, even when you're in search of money, you're trying to make wealth, always have a clear distinction. What are the things that are important for you? For example, let me say some people, spirituality is very important for them. If they become so overwhelmed with just making money, and they realize that aspect of spirituality is suffering, they'll feel like they are not achieving that work-life balance. So that's why I tell you, if it is family that is very important to you, if spirituality is important to you, if what else is very important? Fun is very important to you. Ensure that in your busy schedule you prioritize it. All right. Sometimes we can never do without being busy. Even the wealthy people are busy. You get what I'm saying? It's just that those things that are priority with them, okay, they ensure that those things are not the least. You get what I'm saying? They are able to achieve those things. All right. So what I would say is, in your busy schedule, in your search of money, don't lose sight of those things that are priority. Don't lose sight of those things that makes you happy. You get what I'm saying? If friendship makes you happy, don't let wealth, um, now make you lose importance of meaningful friendship. When you pursue wealth and you don't have meaningful friendship, you will feel like, man, I'm at loss eventually. If family is the important thing, you get what I'm saying? Even in your search of money, create that time, all right? Maybe for example, maybe on Sunday or Saturday, you can have a family meal if you know you have a nuclear family or with your parents, or maybe a Saturday hangout with your friends. What that gives you is that by the time you are going to work and you're searching, it helps you release those chemicals, those serotonin within you that, oh, you have achieved something, you are happy. You get what I'm saying? So even in your busy schedule, you get what I'm saying, you are able to feel like, oh, I've done something, or you are looking forward to something. Another thing, like for example, in uh, working with people in the developer, I realize that one thing they do, they don't play with vacations, right? Because family are important to them. So even though things are busy, they can start talking about sort of a vacation of 2 months. You get what I'm saying? In the busy, they'll be talking about it. Why? Because they are looking forward to it. It gives them that sense of satisfaction. Okay. So anything that is important to you, okay, anything that's priority to you, if it's spirituality, if it is church, if it is mosque, if it is friendship, ensure that you don't lose sight of those things while you are in your business, while you are at work, while you are doing your job just to make money. If you're able to do those things, it gives you that sense of satisfaction. Oh, I'm searching money. Oh, but I have a good family. Oh, I'm searching for money. I have a meaningful friendship. Oh, I'm searching for money. Oh, but my spiritual life is doing well. When you're able to do that, you realize that, you know what, you're actually achieving work-life balance. But the honest truth is that work-life balance doesn't mean you have plenty time to yourself. That's just the truth. Okay, so that's just what I would say. If you're able to do that, I think you'll be able to you'll be able to realize that you're actually achieving, a good work-life balance. And most importantly, time management. Time management, time management, time management. Very important, even in your job, time management. There are a lot of tools people can use for time management. People have apps from time management. People have lists for time management. So people can have a clear listing for, okay, maybe in the first hours of the day. You get what I'm saying? When I wake up, I'll do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And when I'm at work, I'll do the things that are less creative. And when at night, I'll do something less creative. So just have a plan. Time management is the most important thing. Through that way, I'm sure you're able to achieve a good a good work-life balance. All right, guys, we have come to an end of today's meeting. I think I've enjoyed this meeting. This meeting has been really refreshing. These things have been really, really, really refreshing. There are a lot of things that I think we need to, if I say I should summarize, I'm most likely going to spend about 5 minutes, 10 minutes summarizing because it's an interesting conversation. But just like we said, very important, try as much as possible. When we first started, we talked about mindset. Mindset is very important. If you have a mindset of just scarcity, if you have a mindset that I cannot attain this, if you have a mindset that, oh, this money is a lot, there's tendency that even if you try all the plan, try all the tools, try all the initiative, you might not be able to achieve those things because of your mindset. So one way to help your mindset, we told Esther said that, and I also re-emphasize that, is attend webinars, go for educational, and go to YouTube where people talk about money, listen to podcasts. In the morning when I do sometimes when I'm not always in the morning, when I go for a jog in the morning or during the weekend, I listen to a podcast. There's a podcast I listen to on Spotify, Savings and Stocks, right? I'm always listening to them. Why? I'm expanding my mind. I'm hearing these two guys talking about, oh, this stock, this is my stock that I did in this last 6 months. In fact, the last one I was listening to, they were like, oh, this stock, this was one I lost, this is one. What does that do? Is opening my mind, is making me get, I'm refreshed. Sometimes there is, apart from even money, there are some personal development podcasts that I'm keen to. What am I doing? I'm exposing my mind. All right. So books are important. After this meeting, we're going to try to, as much as possible, to make a list of things that we can just make as a package for everyone to listen to, and also get across to us that maybe some of our links of our videos that you can listen to, some books that can help, and suggestion of apps, put it as a package so that you guys can peruse through and start something. All right. So exposure is very important. Try and look for that community. Tribe Grid that is organizing this is a community where we are focused on developing people. All right. Personal growth. We are keen on personal growth, personal development, finances. You can't talk about growth without finances. That's just the honest truth. You can't say I'm growing. People, finances is a part, an important part of your growth. So look for tribes like this in that sense. If you are not in a community, you can join this community. Esther has a platform, she has a community, she has both the paid community, she has different platforms. There are other different platforms. So even if you cannot join paid platforms, try and binge on free resources. There's nothing wrong in using free resources. Many of us started using free resources at the beginning. Get books. There are a lot of websites where you can get free books, even if you cannot buy. I remember before pandemic time, there's this thing, Z Library. Oh my God. I would download free books on my tab. Just they read them. Atomic Habits, Psychology of Money, all these things, invest. But now I try as much. I don't download free, but not because I don't want to, but because I rather now spend money on those books because I know that I'm invested in it. My money is just a form of investment. Every book now is a form of investment. I'm not just using book as knowledge, it's also my own form of investment. So read books, you get what I'm saying? If you go to Ikeja, there's some places where you will see books, 500 naira. I'm serious. I bought books under the bridge. I remember where I bought The Richest Man in Babylon. It was I can't forget that place, under the bridge in Ikeja, that place. I bought like 3 books. I said, this man is selling this thing, even if it's not original copy, just get books. Very important. You need to change your mindset, okay? Get amongst people that you are talking about money. You get what I'm saying? If all your friends are talking about shawarma or they're talking about the gossip, Instagram, those friends are not going to help you make money. You get what I'm saying? So try as much as possible to get into this community, friends that will help you do this. And like we said, there are a lot of investments this thing. Don't wait till you have 10 million naira. All right, you can start with your 50,000 naira. You can start with that your 10,000 naira. We mentioned about consistency, discipline. You can't build wealth in the long term if you are not disciplined. And discipline is not just that putting money. Sometimes even when the market looks like it's not favorable, you are need discipline to stay put. Like, okay, yeah, it's not favorable, I will stay there. It's a long-term thing. So all these things together, if you're able to incorporate these things, I'm sure that you'll be able to make wealth. So we will have other meetings like this. I'm sure one of these days again, Esther will see definitely coming to speak on Tribe Grid again, and possibly still just to work with my team to see if we can actually create a group or a community where, in conjunction with Esther, where we can actually do more practical this thing for starting on investment. That might be paid, but of course, because it's possibly going to be a group, but it might be more subsidized. But it will be something we'll work on and we'll get across to you guys. Okay. Yeah. So so it's I'm just saying that building wealth is very important in the game, and it's an interesting journey. All right. So I wish you guys all the best. Just before we round up, is Kingsley here? This is meant to just make a round up about what's ongoing on Tribe Grid, and we can round up. Just give me a moment, please, and we'll round up. If it's not here, we'll round up. Yes, thank you, Chooks. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, thank you, Royal Crown. So, like I said, so what do we do at Tribe Grid? Like, Tribe Grid is I'm Emmanuel, I'm the founder of Tribe Grid, and we've been holding, I think this is probably our second or third seminar this year. What we are focused on is building young people, really. It's about building young people with a mindset. We want to build people with a tough mindset. When I mean tough, I mean mindset, a wealth mindset. We want to build young people that are growing. Personal growth is something that is very important to us, and like I said, finances is something that is very important. Career development is something that is very, very, very important to us. So we hold seminars like these. Sometimes we have our chat where we have conversations, like before we started this webinar, we've had I think 2 chat as regards wealth, where we talked about, lay the groundwork foundation before having Esther. And so there are also subsequent ones that we are looking towards. I think in the next month or next month, we are looking towards leadership. Leadership is a very important part of life, and so just be a part of the community, and I'm sure that you would experience tremendous growth. And if you're not part of this community, look for sister communities like this, where you have people of like mind, where you can grow. All right. Thank you guys for joining once again. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you, Esther, for having us in this session. It was a very beautiful session. So, Esther, can you just, tell the people where they can meet you? I know you have a YouTube platform, and all those things. Just a few this and we'll round up how, people can
All
get
right. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Akinshaya, for this. I am glad we learned a whole lot of things and we were able to have this conversation. Yeah, so I am on Instagram at the Esther Kintayo, on YouTube at Esther Kintayo. I think those are the two social media platform I use. Then WhatsApp, most times WhatsApp is like my go-to space to speak about anything money or even about life. Yeah. So yes, my contacts can easily be gotten from Dr. Akinshaya. It's my official line. So yeah, you can also get that from him. Then I have a newsletter I try to release bi-monthly. So if you check out my Instagram bio, you would be able to also get that from it. Then I even forgot to mention to you that I have a free budgeting template for those struggling with budgeting their money and planning for their money. They can also get it from the link is also on my YouTube bio. Sorry, Instagram bio. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you for having me also on this call.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night rest. Thank you, Esther, once again. All right. See you guys. Cheers, guys.